It's not live, so any weirdness can be edited out. I'm Lucy. I'm also known as Pinafores and Peonies on Instagram. I'm from the Wirral, but I live in Liverpool in the UK. By day, I'm a music teacher for little primary school kids. So if you think about Jess Day in New Girl, that's pretty much like sums up my day job. And then on Instagram, I do a little bit of blogging, kind of like outfits, interiors, just like stuff that I like. And yeah, that's me.
Love it. I love that you went like this as well for the kids. It's like
little kids, just because I don't teach the big ones because they scare me.
That's so funny. Why do they scare you?
I got onto the secondary music PGCE twice, right? And each time I remembered being in year 9 music, and I obviously loved it, but I remembered all the kids that hated it, and they would just have the keyboards and just be like, DJ, 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 DJ all the way through. And I was like, I just can't be doing with that.
Oh my gosh, yeah. In school we used to do that. That DJ thing is just something that everyone remembers, I feel.
Yeah.
And my friend used to put 3 sets of headphones on her head, and the teacher would walk in and she'd have 3 of them. It was and every single time it was still hilarious, even though I
just can't be dealing with it. The little ones are like, yeah, let's play this game and let's sing really loud, and the music's really fun. So I'm glad that I get to do that with them.
Yeah. So are you musically talented yourself then, I'm guessing? Oh, you used to be in a band, didn't you?
Yeah, so I did a music degree, popular music degree, which is a real degree, even though people think it isn't, it is. I did that at Liverpool Uni, and then during that time I was in a band, and we had minor indie success. If you were into indie, at that time, you probably might have known who we were, but other than that, you won't have a clue. So I did that during my last year of uni, and then I kind of went into the creative art world, but just as an admin person, because it just it was weird, when you have a life dream and it's your top dream up there, and mine was to be in a band, have a record deal. Sorry, that's my dog. Be in a band, have a record deal, and play Glastonbury. And we did all of that, and then it all finished. It was dead flash in the pan, and then I was afterwards I was I don't know what I want to do now. I've kind of done it.
Yeah.
So I was dead lost after that. I was I don't really know what to do. So I just fell into kind of admin jobs in arts organisations in Liverpool. And then I wanted to be a teacher because I think I'd done some work with young kids in those jobs. I was this is really rewarding. But there's not actually really a way to teach music to little kids, or so I thought. So I was I'll just be a normal primary school teacher, and then I'll be the music coordinator or something. But I hated teaching normal lessons in the classroom. Halfway through my PGC, I was this is too stressful, I hate it, I'm not going to be a teacher. But then dead luckily a job came up being a peripatetic, going around different schools teaching music to primary kids, but as a qualified teacher, and I got it, and it's just a dream come true, really. So yeah, I had a bit of a mad path to it, but it is funny because I do teach the kids about they'll sort of ask career options for music, and I'll say I used to be in a band. They're always show me this, and I'm you won't like it, it'll look dead weird and old fashioned to you, you'll think it's weird. So usually I show them at the end of the year, and they're all I show them videos of us live, and not our music videos, and they're all I don't get it, miss. And I'm you won't get it, it was made before you were born.
That's crazy how quickly things become old-fashioned. Do you find that what was it your experience of the music industry when you were working in that? How did you find it?
To be honest, I didn't really like it that much. I think a lot to do with being a woman in the music industry, because I loved performing live on stage and being in the studio and being creative, and that was amazing. That's what I really miss. But then we tour and we do gigs, and I'd turn up with all my equipment and I'd set it up. I remember this one time being on the stage, and I had a really specific mix of what I wanted in my monitors, and to the sound guy it was hi, could I have a bit of top end on my Korg please, a bit of reverb on my vocals, a bit less bass, and quite a lot of the kick drum please. And the guy was sorry, did you want it louder or quieter, love? And I was I want what I've asked you for. And there was times when I wasn't allowed into gig venues because they thought I was someone's girlfriend, or they thought I was the merch girl, and they'd be like, sorry, you need to go away, it's for the band. And I'd be like, I'm in the band. I got silenced a lot in interviews, I got like shushed a lot, and at the time I was quite young, I was only like 21, 22, and I just kind of like took it because that's what I thought it was. And there was people that sort of, like, as you can tell, I'm quite like chatty and a bit, you know, and I got told a few times like not to talk on stage because they were like, you know, it ruins the image of you, like you're too chatty and friendly. And I was like that's just what I'm like. And so I just found it really sexist, and it's like hard having to get changed in manky toilets and live in a car and stuff. It's it's not as glamorous as people might think it is.
Yeah, someone the other day, actually, an artist, who was saying that it's just a game, and he was saying that you have to kind of know the things to get to the next level and things like that. And he's like, there will be compromises.
Yeah, totally. Like, we were very much right place, right time for us, I think, because there was a big like boom in Liverpool at the time. It was sort of 2007 to 2008. They called it Boss Pop. It was like there was loads of kind of indie stuff going on then. And we just happened to be mates with people that already had deals, and they knew the people to get to come. They knew the A&Rs and would invite them down to our gigs, and it happened really quickly. But there was weeks where like we had a booking agent, but just the way things fell, we'd be in London on Monday and you couldn't afford to stay over, so you'd drive there, drive back in a day. And then we'd be in Manchester on a Tuesday, then London again on a Wednesday, then Newcastle on a Thursday, and then down to London again. And we'd be like home, sleeping for a few hours and doing it again. And like, I had some amazing experiences. Like, we did Maida Vale session with Hugh Stevens. We did interviews with Steve Lamacq. We played Glastonbury. We played like the Brighton Great Escape Festival and Camden Crawl. And like, I DJ'd with Topshop as well. Like, I can't DJ.
No way!
I just posed. I took all my 7 inches and just like mixed them in with each other. I didn't beat match them or anything, but they got me to do some of their student nights, and I got like a few free Topshop bits. That was like the pinnacle for me.
That is the dream. Free Topshop stuff is the dream. Oh my gosh, that's such a whirlwind though.
It all happened within like 18 months, but a year, probably 12 months for all the kind of major stuff. But I suffer with anxiety, and I found touring really hard because you're in a car all the time. I don't particularly like traveling. I get very claustrophobic in cars. I'm doing a lot of the driving as well. And then like, you don't even really get to like sit down much. It sounds weird, but I remember being like, I really miss sitting on couches, like, because you're always on like the hard floor or in a car, and I just found that the constant moving around and being in a different place every day really hard. And towards the end, I was like, I just can't do it anymore, because our single deal had finished. No one else had picked us up, so we kind of didn't know. We weren't really aiming towards anything. I was trying to finish my degree as well. I was like writing a dissertation in the back of the car at 3 a.m. and stuff. And then it all kind of like, we ran out of money, and all of us ran out of money. I was luckily living with my parents at the time, but the other two weren't. And so it all just kind of, it kind of like got really, really, it got to the pinnacle really quickly and then faded away just as quickly. It was crazy.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I think I would be the same in that kind of situation, because I've suffered with anxiety as well, and just moving around a lot and not having a base is can really make you feel really unsettled.
I'm not great at traveling now. I can't really stay over at people's houses. I'm not great at going on holiday. It takes me a while to, calm down and settle into the place I'm in. And I think it was the whole, like, you have to travel and stuff, which is hard anyway, and then you have to be like that on stage. And like, I loved being on stage. I remember once I had like a proper heavy cold, and and you just feel like rotten, and I was all like and really shivery and stuff, and I had to take Beechams and then just get on stage, and I was all right while I was on, but straight afterwards I was like, and you just want your own bed. I had to get in the car and drive. I was just like, this is awful.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah, that does sound horrendous.
I think if you're the kind of person that like loves that nomadic lifestyle, that'd be amazing. But I do miss like collaborating and making music and being creative, because like I only get up to like 3 notes with the kids I teach, so I don't get to like play much music with them. But I get skipped at a lot because I probably cling on to it, and like my husband will be like, "Oh, play Glastonbury, did you?" Yeah, and I'm like, "Yeah, but I did though. I'm really proud of it." And it, like I'm like a proper washed up pop star. I like really cling on to it.
That's so hard though, isn't it? Because it is something that is in your past that you are gonna talk about it, and just because it's something big that's happened, like you're gonna get knocked for mentioning it. Whether it's like
I have a box of all our like AAA passes and BBC passes, and like there was loads of issues of the NME and stuff we were in, and I've got all of that, and I can't wait to like if I ever have a kid, like show them and be like, I was cool once, and like I say that to the kids I teach, and they're like, and some of them they're cute, they're like, you're still cool, miss, and I'm like, oh, you creep, like thanks, but you know, but some of them are just like, you know, they just think I'm being weird.
Do you have it in you to sort of want to be the cool teacher? Because I think if I was a teacher, I would want to be the cool one and really likeable.
Yeah, I do. And I think that's like an anxiety, wanting everyone to like me thing as well. And I really have to remind myself that I am their teacher, like I'm not their friend. They don't need to like me. But I mean, I'm actually quite strict as a teacher, weirdly, but like in a nice way, I think. And I am quite like, because I'm like into music, and I've got an 11-year-old nephew who keeps me on top of like what all the memes are that they like, so that keeps me in with them. But I do find them a little bit like, I want them to like me.
Yeah. Do you find that you dress differently when you're a teacher, when you're teacher Lucy?
Yes, because my clothes get ruined in school because I'm constantly lugging around like loads of equipment. If I'm writing on the board, I get pen on them. So I don't really wear anything that nice. I wear a lot of supermarket clothes. I need to be able to like move around as well, because a lot of music's really physical, but in like a safe way. Like you can't show off any chest or any leg. It's got to be all safeguarding, kind of appropriate. So I basically live in like leggings, tea dresses, cardigans, and like brogues or boots in the winter, or sandals in summer. And it's all the same stuff, and it's all quite cheap. So it's not very exciting what I wear for teaching.
Yeah.
Which is why I like to kind of like go all out when I'm not teaching.
Yeah. Shall we move on to the item that you love then?
I'm stuck between two things, but I'm going to show you the vintage item because the other item is an ASOS thing, which like everyone can see. So I'm going to choose the vintage one. I'll just show you my dog first because I've got to lean over her to get it. She's desperate to be in the video. Yeah, this is Bonnie.
Hey!
You okay, Bonbons?
So cute. Right.
I used to be really into vintage, and when I was in band, my thing was to wear like a different vintage dress each night. And then I stopped buying it for a while, and then I kind of recently re-found my love for it. I found this beauty on Etsy. So this...
Oh, that's so nice. That's so 60s.
Yeah, it is. It's a 1960s like shift dress. I just adore the collar. I think that's really now because we're all wearing like these kind of collars now. And it is quite see-through is the only thing, as you can probably tell.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if it was just the camera or whether it was like quite sheer.
Yeah, it's not got lining in, and I thought it may even be handmade because it kind of has that feel, but it's got this like raggedy little label that's so faded you can't even see what's on it. So I don't know what brand it is, but like I just adore the print and the colours and the collar, and like it's a perfect 60s fit. It's got little cuffs on with a little button, and I just adore it. And the collar goes all the way around to the back as well.
Have you worn this on your Instagram?
Yeah, I did a Mad Men lookbook because I'm just obsessed with Mad Men and all things 60s. And so I did like a Megan Draper going to a party type look, and I wore this dress on that.
Yeah, I loved that. I loved that Mad Men thing you did as well. I thought it was such a cool idea. Where do you get all your ideas for Instagram? Is that something you would normally do?
I've always loved the 60s, like always. And I think just because I've been like stuck at home and a bit bored, and I was running out of inspiration on what to take pictures of and where to take pictures. And we were rewatching Mad Men for like probably the third time because we just are obsessed with it. And as I was watching it, I was like thinking of clothes I had upstairs, thinking I could easily do kind of like a modern version of that. Because I think with being into vintage or being into like an older time period, it's really easy for it to be costumey.
Yeah.
You know, and to like look like you're dressing up in a Smithy's 60s outfit. And I was like, it would be cool to just show how you can do it, like with modern day clothes that fit you in that modern day way without it looking like too costumey. So it just started coming to me as we were watching it. I was like, I've got a dress like that, or I could do that. I've got a blouse a bit like that, or you know what I mean? And then it just kind of came to me. Like generally, inspiration is just kind of, I get inspired a lot by other Instagrammers, Pinterest, people I see out and about, like less so now because we're not really out, but if like I'm out in town, I am that person who will stop you and go, oh my god, I really love your dress, like it looks amazing. Just kind of everywhere really, but a lot from the 60s and kind of vintage stuff.
I find that I'm missing that so much, as seeing people out and about and taking inspiration from people that you see in the street, which I think is such a shame. But yeah, definitely sort of watching Mad Men makes me want to dress more vintage and take out the more vintage pieces in my wardrobe.
Me too. I definitely stayed away from it for a while, and I don't really know why. I think I thought I was maybe too old for it, which makes no sense because that was like 5 years ago, and I'm obviously way older than that now. Too old for it, yeah. And I was a bit like, oh, maybe I should be like, you know, more sensible or whatever. And then like getting a dog and moving to the suburbs, a lot of the time it's just not practical to wear like really nice dresses all the time, especially when I'm like walking or in the winter and stuff. But then I think actually getting into Instagram and blogging and stuff got me to connect more with like what my actual style is. I think I like dulled it down a bit. And as well, like when you live in the suburbs, I don't know, I feel like you stand out a bit if you dress a bit like that, like because everyone else is in like more like normal clothes. But I've started to try and be a bit like, well, try and care less about that and just dress the way that makes me happy. Has
lockdown affected your style in any way, or has it changed you in any way that surprised you?
Well, funnily enough, one of my best friends replied to one of my stories the other week, and she was like, how can you be bothered to get dressed every day? And it just made me think, I was like, how can I be bothered to get dressed every day? And it really made me like unpack it.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, I think for me personally, I can't sit around in pajamas or loungewear all day because it makes me think I'm like ill, or it reminds me of like when I was really, really anxious, that's all it would do. I couldn't even like bear to get dressed properly, and I would just be like top knot, no makeup, leggings and a big baggy jumper. And I can do it like, you know, once or twice, but more than that, it kind of like makes me think I'm not well. I just can't, it just makes me feel weird. And then I think it just makes me feel a bit better. I actually think I'm probably dressing up more during lockdown than I was not during lockdown. I think as well because I'm not actually having to do as much like outside, because I'm just in the house. I will put a nice dress on because I'm not going to get it ruined. You know, it's not going to get muddy going to the park with her, or so yeah. And because I was a bit like, why am I constantly putting these really flouncy prairie dresses on? And I just like them. I like every time I walk past the mirror and I'm like, that's a nice dress. It just cheered me up a bit.
I think that's exactly how I felt as well. And I've had periods where I couldn't get dressed. I'd just be in like, because I was like, my mental health was so bad, and I tried to like explore that a little bit in uni, and like kind of how you can see mental illness in the way that people dress. And I think definitely for me, if I'm dressing more casually, it's because I'm not feeling very well, whereas
100%.
I find it easier, and I feel more me when I'm dressing in dresses and stuff like that, which is funny because it's some people's just absolute nightmare. They love the fact that they can just wear joggers. I think it's like just different people, isn't it? And like I have like a stomach thing as well, so when I'm really anxious, my stomach gets really bad and really sore. So like that's why often for work I'll just wear stuff that's really comfy because I'm quite anxious often before work. And so I associate like leggings and comfy stuff with either having to go to work or like having a sore stomach. And you can, if I'm anxious, my stomach will be killing me. I don't want to wear anything that's anywhere near me because I'll be really bloated and sore and tender. And so on the days that I'm not feeling like that, I like to make the most of it and kind of dress up as much as I can. I think you're so right. Like if I think back to days when I've gone into work with like not so much makeup on and my hair's just kind of on top of my head, it's usually because there's something going on mental health wise, and it's really, really associated with that for me. Yeah, and it's funny how you're saying about work anxiety, because I've had that before, quite a lot really, with most jobs. And it makes you wonder, is that a normal thing? Is that a thing that like a lot of people go through? Or is it normal to just not be bothered and just be able to go in every day?
I spend every journey to work in the car wondering the same thing. I look at all the people driving next to me going, do you feel like I feel? Like you know how like a normal person would feel before a job interview where their stomach's flipping and they feel like sick and they get like sweaty and a bit shaky. I feel like that every morning before I go to work. Or if I have to just be anywhere at a time. It's just an anxiety thing. And I was looking at people going, I don't think most people get up and go, yay, work. But I think a lot of people do have a bit of like, oh, like don't really want to go in, which is a bit different to the whole like, I'm really anxious. But I don't know. Maybe people should comment after this, like, do you feel like this when you go to work? We'll do a little bit of a research study.
Yeah. But you do really well to be able to get through that, and you're still going to work every week. Like, that's really good. Do you find that lockdown has made that worse in any way? Because I worry that I'm in the house all the time in this bubble, and I don't really want to push myself to leave or do anything. I'm quite nervous about the world like returning to normal.
100%. I feel exactly the same. Like I love being at home. Like when I was in the band and stuff, I'd be like, I'm such a nana, I just want to be at home with a cup of tea, like going to bed at 10 o'clock. And I'm like that now. I love it, and I'm very much a home bird. And I just don't really like having to go out and do stuff, and not having to do it has made me get really used to the fact that I don't have to do it. And so I've got to go to work at the moment just once a week for a few hours. And what I'm doing is quite easy, but I'm really like, before I go, because I'm just leaving my bubble and I'm leaving the security of just being here. And I do worry actually about how I'm going to cope with it when it all does get back to normal. But I've seen so many people that don't really have anxiety saying the same thing. I think it's like a really common thing right now.
Yeah, I think so too. I think we're all going to end up being like very reclusive, and I'm very attached to George at the moment, and I don't think that's good either, because I've not done anything without him for 3 months. So I've been on like 1 or 2 walks by myself, or when he's been working I've gone out, but that's about it. And especially when we first came to Margate, I was like, oh, can I go to the shop on my own here in this strange place? It's just yeah.
I'm a bit the same. Like Mike started going on these bike rides with his dad that take a few hours, and I'm a bit like, like, where's he gone? Like, I'm not used to this, just being on my own in the house. And like, usually I'd be like, I'll watch a bit of rubbish telly and, you know, like have a bit of pamper or something. But now I'm a bit like, come home.
yeah. It's. I'm really gonna have to work on getting used to that afterwards. It's gonna be really strange.
Definitely.
Shall we move on to your item that you find tricky then, or the item that you hate?
Yeah, I don't have anything that I hate, but I do have something tricky. So it is here. Oops, it's stuck amongst the others. So a lot of people will probably recognise this. This was with the William Morris and H&M collection a couple of years ago, and it's like a really sheer paisley pusty bow blouse. I like properly love it, but every time I go to put it on, I'm like, oh, and I end up taking it off. And it's because it's got like massive sleeves. I love a massive sleeve, but like massive down there. Also, it's very sheer, so it's quite like cold to wear. Sorry, a dog is scratching me, trying to get attention.
I love that.
And yeah, I'm like someone who's always really, really cold in the winter, and this is like a proper autumn winter thing. And I love the idea of it underneath corduroy pinafore or dungarees or something. But I put it on, and just with a cardigan over, the sleeves don't quite fit in, so the cardigan's all bumpy. And I'm like, well, I can't wear it on its own because I'm freezing. And then I just end up taking it off. So I still keep it, and I do wear it sometimes, but I just find it hard.
Yeah. I find that tricky I'm the same about being cold, and I want to look nice, but then I don't want to be cold, and like layering things underneath stuff. And I can't just put a cardigan on. Like, it has to be perfect. So if it's not perfect, I can't wear it.
I really envy people. I see people like on Instagram and stuff in the winter just with like a slogan tee and a chunky cardigan, which is like a look that I love. I just can't do it because my arms are freezing. I have to have a long sleeve top on. And then if I was to put a long sleeve top on underneath a t-shirt, I'd look like I was in the early 2000s, like a skater kid. I can't do that now.
Yeah.
So I will sometimes put like a vest underneath, but then my arms are cold. And then I don't really wear it in spring or summer because the colours it's like an autumn top.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I just find it really hard to be warm enough in it.
I found something that's really helped me now is separating my spring and summer wardrobe. So I pack all my winter stuff away or summer stuff away. And
Yes.
it's helped me to sort of buy less. And well, I say that, but just fall in love with
theory.
fall in love with pieces again and not be seeing them the whole year. So that to me with the colours, I would be like, oh yeah, it is wintry.
Yeah, I mean, I probably should have put that up in the loft because I do the same just for space. I can't fit it all in my wardrobe, like it's too much. So I tend to put a lot of it upstairs in the loft, and it is quite nice actually, isn't it? When you do that swap around, you're like, ooh, forgot about this.
Yeah, unless you do it too early and then you're screwed.
I did that this year. I did that when we had like a random bit of summer. Was it in like March or something? I was like, I'll do the swap over. Then I was like, I can't wear that, it's too cold.
Yeah, then it went absolutely freezing and we were all...
Yeah.
I think I went to Wales with just one coat or something, and then I spent the whole time there freezing, wishing that I'd brought more because in my head it was going to be spring and summer and really warm.
Yeah. Spring always catches me out, always. I remember me and my husband went to Paris years ago, early March, and in my head it was like Paris in the springtime. And so I'd planned all these like Breton tops and A-line skirts with little jackets and a beret and like bare legs with little boots, and it was so cold when we got there. I had to emergency go to H&M on the Champs-Elysees because it was the only shop I could afford on there, and buy like 3 jumpers and a big coat, and I was just like, this has ruined all my Paris outfits.
Yeah. Oh no, the weather is always worse, and that's what we were saying now is with lockdown is that we can dress like we want to because it's not weather pending.
I think that's the thing about being in the house. And like my friend that asked me that question has got 2 kids, and she was like, I'm just in like leggings and a hoodie all the time. I was like, well, I think if I was running around after kids I probably would be as well. I'm not actually needing to run around after anyone right now, so I kind of can wear like nice floaty stuff. But like in school it's the same thing because I'm constantly running around and stuff. I don't want to be in my nice stuff, and I can't move in it either. Yeah,
definitely. Should we move on to your random item then?
I've got 3 things on the bed and I can't choose. I've got a scarf, a shirt, and a jumper. I think I might go with the scarf.
I was going to say scarf.
It's a bit different. So I've got this quite recently because my head burns like within 2 seconds of seeing the sun. I get like sunburn down my part. So, and I do wear like a straw hat, but sometimes I just don't want to wear a hat or it like blows away. So I wear a lot of headscarves like as hairbands. So I decided to expand my collection, and I was just in love with this one. I got this from Oliver Bonus, and I just adore the colours in it.
Yeah, that's really cute. I love pink and green.
It's got like, the pink at the end, and it's all kind of like pastel colours. So it's dead silky as well. And because it's square, you can either wear it like, you wear them like this, don't you, where it's kind of like triangular at the back, like that.
Yeah.
Obviously don't wear them that. Or you can kind of like, if you wrap it up properly, you can have it kind of flat and then tie it there. I just love the way that you can have a different colour on different bits of your head, depending on how you kind of fold it.
Yeah.
You can tie it on a bag. Sometimes, you might tie it around your neck or something. But yeah, I just love the colours in it.
Oh, that's so nice.
Yeah. And I used to have, and I'm so sad about this, I used to have like a vintage collection of them years ago when I was like proper little vintage indie kid years ago. And do you remember it was all like a million layers?
Yeah.
Like everything was just layers upon layers upon layers. And my mum had amazing scarves like that from the 70s and 80s with these amazing like sort of like Hermes type patterns on them. She was like, yeah, you can have them all. And I don't know where they are. I think I've got rid of them, charity. Now I'm like, because I definitely wear them again.
Yeah. Scarves is definitely something that I've just rekindled my love for
Me
them
too.
and wearing them, especially if my hair, because my hair dries naturally now. If it doesn't go very well, then putting a scarf around it fixes it. Or you don't have to wash your hair. You can leave it an extra day because you got your scarf on. I think. Yeah, I don't know how well it would work though, with it being really windy outside. I've not tested that yet.
Well, that's where scarves are good, because if I wear my straw hat, I've got like a straw fedora, that will just blow off in the wind. But I mean, this is a piece of ribbon that I've got in my hair right now, again to hide the little bit that's growing out the side. What I do with scarves as well is I just pin them there with a couple of like hair grips and a cross behind the ear at the bottom so you can't see it. And if I'm wearing a headscarf, I do the same, and it does not budge.
That's a good idea. I'm gonna do that then, because being in Margate by the sea, it's very breezy.
In Liverpool by the sea, exactly the same. You walk outside and you're like, whoa.
I tried to a couple of months ago. I sort of was trying to buy less clothes, but I thought, well, if I invest in accessories, then it's an easier way of updating my outfits without spending loads on a new dress or something. Are accessories something that you think a lot about?
Do you know what? Yes, that is such a good idea. In fact, my mum yesterday went to see my mum and dad for Mother's Day, gave me so much of her old jewellery, because all this kind of like layered necklace thing is all back in.
Yeah.
And I remember in the 90s, my mum would always have like layered gold jewellery, big chunky gold hoops, and she spotted, I had a pair of Under the Stories ones. She was like, I've got loads of actual gold hoops upstairs that you can just have. And this necklace is from Masoma, but then these two are my mum's.
Yeah.
And yesterday I said to her, if you got like a chunky-ish, like short gold necklace, and she was like, yeah. And so she gave me these two, and she gave me these hoop earrings, so you can see them. They're like, they're like kind of like wavy, I don't know what the word is, like scalloped. And she gave me my nana's earrings and another set. And I've definitely got like a lot more into like layering jewellery. Like I've rekindled all my old emo ear piercings. And I've now got like loads of little gold hoops in them. And yeah, I'm definitely like layering on and changing it each day. Like I used to just, when I was like a kid, I used to just wear like bracelets all up my arm and like, gig wristbands all up my arm and just sleep in them and never take them off. And now I'm finding that I'm kind of taking stuff off, and then in the morning going, like, oh, I'll layer this with this, and then I'll wear these, and I'll take that and swap that, and I'm doing all like hair bands and stuff. So really into accessories, yeah.
Yeah. Do you remember those, were they called shag bands?
Yes. And I used to be like really prudish and be like, I can't call them that. So it's like, like my elastic wristbands.
Yeah, and if you snapped them or something, or like if a boy came along and snapped them or something.
But you do that mad thing where you got two.
Yeah.
I can't remember how you did it, but you like tie them so that you had two like that across around your wrist, wouldn't you, or something?
Yeah. I had them in red and black, I think.
Yeah, me too. I know you lived in Liverpool for a bit. Were you here when Quiggins was a thing?
Yeah, I think so. Is that was it not on Bold Street, but say Bold Street's there, and then it was like on that street?
Yeah, that was when it moved to like a new place then, which is probably the one. When I was a kid, it was like, if anyone knows Liverpool, it's kind of like where the Liverpool One shopping centre is now. And it was this amazing emporium. It's like Affleck's Palace in Manchester, if people know that as well. And it was just this proper alternative indie emporium of like vintage band tees. You could buy like incense, like anything. And they had this bead shop, and I was obsessed with the bead shop because you could go and make your own necklaces. Do you remember those like black thong necklaces that you could put like letters or things on? And I definitely had one with like a yin yang on it. I had one that spelt the name out, and then you could go and like you could pick whether you wanted elastic or cord, and then you'd buy all the beads and put them on. And I was just obsessed, and I used to just have like an arm full of all these like crazy beads and bracelets and things.
Oh my god, yeah, I think I had a lot of stuff like that as well, handed down from my sisters. I remember just had absolutely tons of this like plastic bands and It's
Yeah,
crazy.
and then like a bit older, when I was sort of like in uni and like indie was proper at its heyday, I used to just wear like 10,000 long necklaces though. Like now the trend is like up here, isn't it? But these were like all down there. And I used to these used to just be really annoying. You'd bend over and they'd be like all up in your business. But I used to wear like 4 of them all in one go.
Oh my god, yeah, you're bringing those back to me as well.
Yeah.
So to finish off, talking of hand-me-downs and stuff, who would you say is your style icon or style icons?
Oh, I've got so many. Alexa Chung, probably number one.
Yeah.
Zoe Deschanel for like more like a vintage style stuff, and I just love her hair. And just like anyone from the 60s, you know, you kind of Jane Birkin, and I love all like the Beatles girlfriends, like George Harrison's girlfriend when he was really young. I can't remember her name. But there's loads of pictures of it with like the most perfect hair. So just like 60s sirens. But Alexa Chung, oh my god, I went through such an obsessive phase with her. I remember there was like a period of time where she just emerged on T4 and everything she wore was like from Topshop. I remember watching it going like, she dresses really cool, but I've got that dress and like I could probably style it like that. And there was so many things that there was a forum called The Fashion Spot. Did you ever go on it?
No.
Oh my god, it was like pre like Instagram and Tumblr and stuff like that, but it was basically a forum where people would find like celebrities' outfits and post what they wear, and you had to be like let in to certain links, and you had to like apply to be on the Alexa Chung one. And so I eventually got accepted, and every day if she'd been on telly or in the press or something in an outfit, someone would find out where it's from and they'd be like, it's Topshop, quick, and everyone would like go in to buy it. And so every day I'd go on a Fashion Spot thread, see what she'd wore, I'd probably buy it. I was buying like Barber jackets off eBay. I remember she wore this APC sailor dress. Like, I can't afford APC, that's way too expensive for me. So I was like on eBay all the time, like hunting for it.
Oh my gosh.
And I just...
Yeah. Sorry, you just brought something back to me then. I was like thinking about the sailor dress as well. Yeah.
Oh my god, sailor stuff, I still do quite like it, but I used to always dress like a sailor. I like sailor collars. But I think because she was similar to me in that she based a lot of her fashion on the 60s as well. And it was a lot of like smock dresses with over the knee socks and little brogues, little boots, kind of like dolly dresses and stuff. And she'd always have the cat eyes and this kind of fringe. So I felt like she did it in a really modern way. She created this whole style that like so many of us followed, I think. And I mean now, because she's obviously like super famous and all her clothes are designer, it's a bit kind of harder to emulate her, but I'd say she's had a huge inspiration on how my style is now. I look back at stuff from 2009 and I'm like, I wish I still had that, I'd still wear that.
Yeah, that's true. And I think what you're saying about her dressing high street, that's why I love Instagram so much, is because my influences come from people that wear stuff that I can get, whereas I'm not trying to like, I'm not looking at celebrities. And when bloggers get a bit bigger, some people that I've like followed for ages, when they get a bit bigger and then they start getting designer stuff, I go off them a little bit. And it's like not through any fault of their own, or not saying that they shouldn't have that stuff, but it's just because I personally can't achieve that, so I'm not as interested. I'd rather see people that are like in my kind of bracket.
Yeah, exactly the same. And also as well, a lot of the like more designery stuff kind of goes a bit too like wacky for me, and I'm like, well, I wouldn't know how to style that. And yeah, like you say, one of my favorite things about Instagram is like saying to someone, where's it from, and buying it. And I love it when people do it to me as well. Like if people go, oh, you know, I bought that because you had it, I like really like that.
I wouldn't have met you, for example, and our style is so similar, I would say.
Yeah.
Even probably like it's always probably been similar. We've probably gone through the same phases.
Yeah.
So I find that fab that you can find. And also, if you say, oh, I like this dress, and then you can send it to me and I'll know that I'll like it, or like that's really nice, is sharing that with someone. Because in my friendship group at school, we all dressed really differently. So it's kind of nice to find people that are into exactly the same things as you.
I think I'm the same, because in school I was always like slightly weird alternative one, and I remember like I had like my school bag with like badges pinned on it and a bit of chain on it, and some of the other girls were a bit like because they were all very like, they would wear like Topshop clothes as their school uniform, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'd be there with like my Minities playlist, listening to like Radiohead, and I always felt like I had to sort of hide my individuality to fit in a bit. And I remember getting to uni and doing my music degree, and I just went full out like whatever I could. I went through like a really kind of weird experimental stage, and there were like loads of band t-shirts and stuff. And I think that's why I do like Instagram, is because I find people like you. And I was talking to Sophia Rosemary last week because she posted a picture from 2009, and I replied and I was like, I had that outfit, wore the same thing. We were chatting about like the phases we'd all been through to get to like where we are now. And you often find that a lot of people have been into the same music and probably were on the same scene. And like, I've met people on here and been like, we were probably in the same indie dance club in Liverpool 10 years ago and just didn't know about it.
Yeah.
But you can tell from the way someone dresses. I just think that's so cool.
Yeah.
And yeah, like you say, like you found this dress for me, didn't you? And we're like, quick, this dress is on ASOS, quick, I think you'll like it, here you go. I'm like, I love that.
Yeah, it's really great. It's so nice. It's definitely one of the positives to social media and the online world.
Yeah, same. I just love like collaborating with people in that way and kind of like sharing your style and then being inspired by other people. It's just like my favourite thing about being on there.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I think that's a really nice note to end it on then. Well, have a good day.
It's been so nice.
I'll see you soon.